Hi friends, I am Sai and welcome back to my channel Sai Tech Guru. In today's video, I'll try to talk about the review of the POCO F3 GT device after using more than 5 days with the intense kind of testing. Yes, so I did do the intense kind of testing in the POCO F3 GT and I'll try to talk about each and every small details in this entire video. And the reason why I did intense testing on this past few days is because we all do know the price of this phone starts from 25,999 and for every sale every week the price will increase. That is the reason I need to be very rushed in terms of making the videos, in terms of uploading, in terms of testing intense and spending my time, maximum amount of time in the day on this phone only. That is the reason I did not concentrate much on the OnePlus Nord 2. The reason is because the OnePlus Nord 2 price is exactly constant. It doesn't change week by week, but the price of this phone will change week by week. So it's very important for you to decide whether to buy it or not. So this entire video I'll try to talk about all the advantages and disadvantages what about this phone, and each and every small thing I'll try to explain clearly. So for everything whatever I mention in this video, there's a playlist available. Try to check the playlist and all your doubts will be completely cleared. I'm not trying to show you the playlist for gaining the views. I'm just trying to show you for your information and the knowledge purpose only. So try to understand me in that way. And first let's start with these are the factors which I'll try to discuss in this video: performance, display, camera, battery charging, connectivity, build quality and the software updates. So these are the few things which are kind of initial impressions, and some can be really for the long impressions as well. I'll try to explain all these kind of things as well. So first let's start with the basic thing, which is the performance wise. So regarding the performance, the POCO F3 GT, which has got the Dimensity 1200 chipset, so which is pretty normal. We did see in the other Realme X1 Max as well previously. So initial impressions, I did not have much kind of hopes, to be frank. Yes, so I did not have much kind of hopes on this POCO F3 GT in terms of the performance wise, but after doing the speed test and multitasking test and comparing with other phones, for example POCO X3 Pro or maybe the Mi 11X device, iQOO 7 device, this phone was able to be close to those Snapdragon processors. That's it. Yeah, in terms of the optimization for the multitasking, that is what I meant. For the long time gaming and durability, maybe the Snapdragon processors are kind of really good, but if you want optimized Dimensity processor, then this is your perfect choice. That is what I'm going to say. Not optimized Snapdragon. I'm trying to come only in the Dimensity circle only. So this is one thing which I did understand within this 5 days of using this mobile phone. And the benchmarks, if you consider the benchmarks, I would say benchmark doesn't matter right now, because in my usage, as you can see that right now the benchmarks I'm getting about 6,23,000 in the benchmarks, and whereas the other phones, for example OnePlus Nord 2 went up to 6,70,000, and even the Realme X1 Max went up to 6,80,000 and 90 and 7 lakhs as well in the Realme X1 Max. So based upon the benchmarks, if you decide, that's up to you friends, but definitely in my opinion I would say in my day-to-day usage you would not feel any kind of problem in terms of the multitasking, or even 20 games this was able to open in the multitasking. So multitasking and the UI RAM management is really good. I'm not saying based upon this one phone using. I did have 3 POCO phones and 2 MI phones, Mi 11X and Mi 11 as well. Mi 11 with the Snapdragon 888 and POCO X3 Pro with the Snapdragon 860. After using this many Mi and POCO phones, then I came into this kind of conclusion. This I did not expect, to be frank, this kind of multitasking and optimization. That's the one thing which I did like. Not only that, so apart from that, this phone actually supports the 120 FPS gaming perfectly alright without any kind of issues, as you can see right now. And you can use these triggers to actually play this kind of games. Like as you can see friends, right now I'm playing this game at 120 FPS, and you can use the inbuilt FPS meter application, inbuilt FPS meter feature, not the application, sorry, my bad. So you can use this inbuilt FPS meter feature to enable, and you can actually see real-time floating FPS meter as well in this phone, as you can see. So this UI is really optimized for this kind of 120 FPS without any problem. You should not have any kind of issues in terms of the 120 FPS gaming or maybe high refresh rate gaming. But right now Battlegrounds mobile game, unfortunately it's not supported with the 90 FPS at this moment. Maybe in the future we might get that kind of option, but right now it is not supported with the 90 FPS at this point. Not only Battlegrounds mobile, even PUBG or maybe Call of Duty, some of the games are not that optimized for the Dimensity processor. That is what you should definitely keep in mind. But maybe the things might change in the next couple of months. That is what I'm expecting, because we are seeing so many phones getting launched with the Dimensity processors. So maybe the game developers, they might get update even with the Dimensity, same like the Snapdragon as well. But for the past few years, Snapdragon, even present also Snapdragon, but maybe the future can be Dimensity and Snapdragon both together. That is what I was expecting. So next, regarding the temperatures also I'm really impressed. It's not getting that high. No, it's not getting that high when compared with the Realme X1 Max, this POCO F3 GT and OnePlus Nord 2, because these 3 phones, they do have the same processors. So if you watch my previously benchmarks or any kind of video comparison, you will definitely understand the OnePlus Nord got really high temperatures. Yes, Even today morning also I did the battery draining test, comparing all the four smartphones together. In this phone, I think the OnePlus Nord 2 tends to get really higher in terms of the temperature. So temperature problem is also not that high, I would say, in this device. That's also another positive point about this phone. So in the performance segment, I am really happy with this phone, friends. I got more than what I expected. That is what my impressions are exactly on this Poco F3 GT. Next, regarding the display. Display is also another biggest advantage for this phone. Yes, absolutely, friends. After the performance, display is my main thing which I like in this phone, and I fell in love in this phone. Yeah, exactly. I started to watch a lot of TV shows and a lot of movies in this phone because of this big screen and small bezels. Not only that, even you do get really very good customization options where you can actually get really high saturated colors when compared with other phone displays. So when you ask me, is it like the Mi11X, and which display will you pick? Poco F3 GT or Mi11X device? I would say both are kind of same. Yeah, both are kind of close to each other, nothing much difference, but just a little bit kind of advantage for this phone because of having higher touch sampling rate. Maybe you might feel a little bit kind of smoother when you touch, but overall it's kind of both are kind of same, close to each other, but slightly advantage for the Poco F3 GT, just a little bit. Unless you watch very much close into the detail only, then you will be able to notice. That's the one thing you can definitely consider in terms of the display. But overall, in terms of the display, I'm really happy. Apart from that screen bleeding issue, which is also which we can actually fix it. If you try to restart the phone, you can actually fix the screen bleeding issue as well. That's not a big problem, I would say, right now. So before I thought it's a big problem, but later we got to know we can actually fix it. So now the problem is also got solved. The display segment in this phone is really highlight point in the Poco F3 GT as well. The performance optimization is the best point, and next is the display is the best point, and third is the camera. So camera, during this 5 days of usage, I did use the camera as well, even outdoors and indoors, taking the shot. Let me just show you couple of images which are taken using this phone, which I could say I'm kind of impressed, but not that impressed. No, I think you may be satisfying with the front cam clarity, but not the back camera. Night mode shots are not that great. No, night mode shots are not that good. Even the back cam, it's kind of okay. I would say average kind of shots you can definitely expect, but this display is clearly 10-bit display. So whatever images you watch in this phone, it will look really good. But if you try to transfer this image into other phone, then you will see the real difference. That is what I'm trying to mention. So there's one thing you should definitely understand. This display is 10-bit, so they look really pop up and you'll really see a lot of difference. But when you try to share the same images to other phone, then you will actually see the lot of difference in the other phones. That is what I meant. And these are the outdoor selfie shots which are taken. Outdoor selfie shots are also not bad at all. In terms of the selfie shot, no issues. And 4K 30 FPS can be recorded, not 60 FPS. That's another disadvantage a little bit. That is what I thought of saying. And these are the direct sunlight shots which I thought of taking. As you can see, outdoor shots which are, as you can see, friends, clearly. I did do the couple of comparisons as well in terms of sunlight, visibility and sunlight, lot of things. So you can check those videos for more details in case if you want about the camera. So in terms of the camera, I would say average. I'm not that impressed, to be frank. I would say yes, not only me, even a few of the users, they will definitely accept on this kind of camera region in the Poco F3 GT. That's the one thing. So next, in terms of the battery and the charging. So before, I can definitely say the charging time close to 48 minutes to 50 minutes. Yes, that's a kind of perfect, no issues. But battery, before I used to think how much the battery used to come, but today after doing the battery draining test, then I got to know this phone can actually play up to 7 hours of Battlegrounds mobile gameplay without any kind of issues. Yes, friends, exactly, I did do the video. This is a Battleground test video which I did comparison, as you can see here. So 7 hours of non-stop gaming you can actually use. In that testing, I did use a 70% brightness. 70% brightness, I did get about 6 hours and 50 minutes. So if you decrease slightly the brightness, then definitely you can get up to close to 7 hours of battery backup in this phone. It's possible. I'll try to show you the screenshot. So without proof, I'll definitely not talk any time. So is a proof, as you can see, friends, 6 hours and 49 minutes of the battery backup I got out of 2% charge, as you can see. Continuously, I was playing only Battlegrounds mobile gameplay only during the time of testing. So overall, definitely the 5000 mAh of battery really helps to keep the battery survive a little bit kind of more longer. I mean 30 minutes more. So 30 minutes more than the Realme X1 Max. So 30 to 40 minutes more than the iQOO 7 device. In this way, it will be able to survive slightly more as well. That's the one thing you should remember. And the screen on time, let me show the screen on time. Few of the users, they are really interested to know screen on time, how much I'm getting. So screen on time can be close to, I think, 6 to 8 hours of time. 6 to 8 hours, minimum 6 hours, and it can go up to maximum up to your usage. But for me, 3 hours 34 minutes in 61% only. So just imagine if the battery comes close to 2% or 10%, I can easily get 7 plus hours in the screen on time in this phone without any kind of issues. That's a good thing. So what are the things I like till now? Performance fantastic, optimization is really good, and not in the games. Not in the games need to be really optimized. That is what game developers problem, not this phone's problem. Game developers problem, they will definitely do it. So display fantastic, camera average, battery charging also excellent, no issues. Next, regarding the connectivity, there is not that big problem, I would say, just a little bit small problem. So I'll try to explain you. If you try to use a Jio SIM card, try to download the NetMonster application, try to check what frequency you are connecting. I'm not sure why it is like that, but this frequency in my location, I'm not getting 4G plus in this phone. So you may get the 4G plus, you will get definitely 4G plus, no issues. You will definitely get the 4G plus, but only if you try to connect one single band, which is frequency 1800, then you don't get the 4G plus. This is possible in the Realme X1 Max and Poco X3 as well. I did explain separate video. You can check those videos in case if you want. That's the one thing which I was just mentioning, only regarding the Jio SIM, not any others. And about the 2.4 transmit link speed, it's only limited to 144 Mbps only. That's the one thing which I was just mentioning for you all in case if it is useful for you. So in terms of the connectivity, for me, I did not feel much kind of difference during my usage. So my internet plan is about close to 91 Mbps and 90 Mbps. So I'm getting kind of high speeds only throughout the time. So not much problem. As you can see, from 86 and 87 I'm getting. So there's not much issues for me. But if you're having the single band with high internet speeds, then that may be a problem. But right now, I think most of the users, they are having the dual band system. So that should not be any kind of issue at all. So next, regarding the build quality. So build quality is another biggest plus point for this phone. Absolutely, friends. Without these triggers, there's no video about the Poco F3 GT review, I would say. Definitely, this is a really good, useful feature triggers. I did like it. But there's a small problem, which is the loose buttons, which is available. The stop button will be loose. If you try to tap it, you will definitely feel that kind of difference. This button to this button, and that's the one thing. Not only that, there's another thing, which is sound difference will it be there. Yes. If you try to press this one, you'll get this tactile, really good sound. If you try to press this button, you won't get that kind of sound. You will get that kind of sound, but you need to put a little bit of more pressure. Only then you will get. But this one is really good, sensitive. This one, I did like that one. So that's the kind of difference I did see. Not much apart from that. But overall, I did like the build quality. It's fantastic, friends. And regarding this backside, there is no vibrations. When you try to play the volume at higher levels, there's not even one thing. It's close to 1 or 2% vibrations only, not much. So I did not feel any kind of vibrations on the backside. That's really good. Only few phones will be able to do with the loads, with this much of huge low volume and managing the vibrations on the backside. Only few phones will be able to do. That is the reason I thought of mentioning. And there's little bit kind of light reflection will be there in the corners of the phone when you try to turn on the flashlight. That's something which you should know. As you can see, which is the reflection coming from the leaking from the outside as well. Just a light reflection, that's the one thing which may not be bothering for the most of the users, but still I'm trying to mention these other things. And next, there is no 3.5mm jack. That's another drawback, but still nowadays we are getting this kind of, we need to get used to this. If you want 3.5mm jack, the only phone is alternate is a Realme X1 Max. That's only one is available right now in the market. So in the build quality, I did like, even the fingerprint scanner is also really faster in unlocking. Not much problems as you can see. It's very fast to unlock as well. No issues in terms of the fingerprint scanner at all. Haptic feedback is also really excellent, friends. Haptic feedback, no issues at all. I did not feel much kind of problems in terms of the haptic feedback. Let me to show you. As you can, I did not feel much problems. I did like the haptic feedback, and you can actually adjust, increase and decrease the intensity as well in this phone. So no issues regarding the build quality in this. RGB lighting as well. That's also another thing. Biggest advantage, another thing, RGB lighting, which looks really cool using the RGB lighting in this phone. So gaming triggers and RGB lighting for this kind of budget range, we would not be expecting, friends, for the 25,000 rupees. I mean for 26,000 rupees, that's really good. So next, regarding the software updates, in my past experience, I did face like really good experience with the MI and the Realme. So to be frank, MI, Realme and the OnePlus is kind of okay, I would say. So there is not much problems with the software updates, I would say, in my opinion. So it should not be a problem, because even if you have a problem, you can definitely root it and you can actually install another custom ROMs and different you can do it on these MI phones, mainly on the Poco phones as well. That's another advantage which all the Poco phones and MI users, most of the MI users, they will definitely utilize this kind of thing. Even though the company stops updates, you can actually root and install different custom ROMs as per your needs. That's also option is available in the Poco F3 GT. So these are the complete details about the Poco F3 GT, friends. This is a complete review after using for 5 days with the Poco F3 GT and uploading close to 135 videos on this phone within the 5 days. It's not a joke, but I did do the intense kind of testing. So final question, should you buy the phone right now or not? If someone asks me, if someone with a limited amount of money, I mean if he's saving a lot of money to buy this for the gaming. So for the gaming, how did you feel? For the gaming, I did not feel much kind of difference, but definitely for the gaming, it might be useful. In case if you want the triggers, buy it. If you want the triggers. If you don't want the triggers, if you don't care about the triggers, and if you want really strong, stable performance, then better go for the Snapdragon 870. Even this is also good, but slightly Snapdragon 870 is kind of really closest option which you do have in the phone. That is what I meant. So next, regarding the performance display, these are the few things which I really like. Performance and the display is two things which are my favorite thing about this Poco F3 GT. And third is the build quality. Only then the battery backup and everything comes in this phone. So this is a complete review, friends, on the Poco F3 GT after using for 5 days of usage. In case if I miss any other points, let me know in the comment section below. That will be really helpful. So for the others as well. So thank you for watching and see in the next video, friends. I'll then straight up for more updates. So from now, I'll even try to focus on the OnePlus Nord 2 as well. Just for this review purpose only, I'm trying to spend most of the time in the Poco F3 GT instead of OnePlus Nord. That is the reason. But I'll definitely focus on the OnePlus Nord 2 very soon. So and regarding the 5G bands, we do have only, I think, 2 5G bands in this phone. That's one thing which I just forgot to mention. That's the one thing. And thank you for watching this video, friends, and see you in the next video. Until then, stay tuned for more updates. Meanwhile, signing off. Bye.